Rip, man, I'm ready, dude. I'm chilling, dude. Been
All
looking.
right, good. First episode of Chalk Talk. I'm really happy to have somebody who I've been admiring for like a few years now, 2 years now. Hydeon, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I want to start off with saying I'm super, super jealous of you because you went to a pretty rad show this past weekend. We follow you on Instagram. You went to the Fail show in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So, how was that show? I'm super jealous. It looked awesome on the internet.
man. The show was mind blowing, man. I've seen a lot of work, a lot of shows over the years, and this is something that really resonated with me pretty deep because it really affected almost like all of your senses.
Yeah, totally.
Because it was not only sick because there was the work on the walls was just amazing. These amazing kind of like um, paintings, I guess you could call them. These like sort of like destroyed posters on top of posters type of thing that they got going on. It's really amazing. I really like what those guys are doing, and I didn't realize it was two guys, and they're both named Patrick.
Yeah, the two Patricks. Yeah, one of them's Canadian actually.
And my gallery dude from Maxwell Colette in Chicago had told me about Fail a few years ago, and so I'd known about him, but I wasn't super familiar with, like, I never really dived down that rabbit hole too much. So I live very close to the Brooklyn Museum, so I just walked over there over the weekend and checked out the show and was just absolutely mind blowing because they got the 2D pieces on the wall, but then they have this crazy temple structure in the middle of the space that is phenomenal. And not only can you like look at the art, but you can interact with it, and you can you go inside of the temple. It's not like you go into museum and they got the temples and sculptural objects that are like roped off. Like there's no ropes. You can just go walk right into it, and they got these amazing prayer wheel things that you
Oh yeah,
can
those are super cool.
crazy prayer wheels inside. You can turn them, and there's all this cryptic writing and stuff going on, and just like it's just phenomenal, man. The amount of work that went into the show was just astonishing, man. It was a beautiful show, man. Really massively inspiring. And just beautiful all the way around. A 10 out of 10, just amazing. One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, man. I was really moved by it, and it just instantly became a huge Fail fan right out of the gate. Based off of that show, it was just like just massive respect for those guys. They're just really doing. They're just killing it on a whole nother dimension. Like just like on all levels, man. And then they had this like you go inside and they got this crazy like day glow poster room with all these glow in the dark kind of posters just like spanning all areas of the whole room. And then there's like they got these tables set up where you can play games and stuff like that. They got like foosball games and all kinds of games, and then they got this whole arcade room that's all types of craziness, man. Just had me tripping out. And man, I just enjoyed it so much, man. It was just a beautiful show, man. They really killed it, and I think anybody in New York or worldwide would just appreciate this show, man. It was just like it was really refreshing to see that, man. To see somebody, some folks just really just not holding back at all. They just didn't care, man. They were just letting it all go. It was really amazing. I loved it.
Awesome. That's so great to hear. You bring up New York. You've been there for more than a minute now.
Yeah.
How's the transition been? How's it been living in New York, man? How's Brooklyn?
It's been really good, man. It's been really good, man. Came out here from Chicago, and so it was a nice transition from Chicago. Sort of a similar vibe, but man, I love New York, man. It's just got so much more to offer, man. There's just the way art moves and breathes out here. It's just different than any other place in the world, man. I've never seen so many galleries and artists in an area ever in my life before. It's really amazing, man. The city really lives and breathes creation and art. It's just you can't escape it. It's everywhere out here, and it's amazing, man. And it's really inspiring to me. I love being out here, man. It's so saturated with work and people creating beautiful things, man. and ugly things, and the whole gamut of art is out here. It's just like I feel like I'm in the epicenter of the real deal of where everything's kind of going down, man, and it's great to be a part of that. And it's cool, man. I had heard stories of people coming to New York in the past, and really struggling for like 3 4 years, and just having like these sort of like just like rough time, coming out to New York, and just like dying, struggling and stuff like that, to try and just get a job, or get a place to live and things like that. Living with the 18 roommates in the tiny little like cubicle apartment, and I did that when I first got here. It was crazy, but fortunately, I put my ducks in a row, and I was able to get a really amazing full-time silkscreen job with this amazing wallpaper company called Flavor Paper in Brooklyn, and I was able to get that job like a few weeks after I had moved out here. So it was a real miracle for me, and they've been taking really good care of me, and I'm super excited to be a part of Flavor Paper, and be with the company, and I'm working full time there, so I don't have as much time to work on my own art as I used to in Chicago, but it's totally worth it. We get to do all these amazing trade shows and help out with amazing other artists that are showing in giant museums and other things like that, like all over the world and stuff. So it's really cool to be a part of that, and having that full time job and financial backing allows to kind of like take a little stress off of my art game, my personal art game. So I'm able to just kind of like create and not worry about, okay, oh, I got to make X amount of pieces, because if they don't sell, then I can't pay my rent. I got my day job handled. I got my silk screen game on point, so I'm just working on that. And now I'm just kind of like I'm just exploring all kinds of new realms with my own personal art, and I'm not worried about if the art doesn't sell or doesn't move or whatever. I'm just like I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. I'm trying to create works that I'm trying to broaden my own horizon and create works that are evolutionary within my own style. Try always pushing the boundary with what I'm working on.
Yeah, I really wanted to get into that later on, but you brought it up, like just your own personal progression as an artist. I mean, when I got into your art, it was really like the row houses. I mean, you know that I talked about you all
Uh,
about talk about
yeah,
you all the time. Like I love the row houses. But then you also had like your crazy characters living in these houses under the mountains, almost like they're controlling nature and stuff. And you really focused on ink and pen and pencil. And I think now, I mean, you're painting a lot more. I mean, you can tell from the background.
yeah,
Um, and you're using a lot more things in terms of continuity and context, where like I see your pieces, and I mean, I remember seeing the Joan of Arc character, and like, oh, so well done. I love that piece, and I love your character work. And then you're using the Statue of Liberty as well as a iconic figure where people can associate themselves with. So that being said, talk about the transition. Talk about going from smaller, I guess, pieces to now. I mean, you can tell behind you have a lot bigger pieces. You're painting them as well. You're using characters that people can associate themselves with.
totally. Yeah, well, no, that's a good point, man. I like that you bring that up. A lot of my work is inspired from my environment, and where I am. Like everything, kind of like my whole world is revolved around the inspiration of my creative world is revolved around my direct life experience on the floating ball, and so like with that being said, like the characters, those are my Herms. The Herm troglodyte characters have been evolving. They've been kind of going away. They've been hiding back in the caves, bringing them back. Sometimes here and there they come back and forth. But I've been keeping up with the pace of the city. Also, just living in New York, it's so fast, man. There's so many people here, and just everything's like boom, 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 go, 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 all the time, all the time. But I got my little chill situation in Brooklyn, so I still remain on my chiller level. But I still, I get up in the mix, and so like several times I've been been to Times Square, and I've seen these Statue of Liberty folks like on the stilts, and they're these crazy people that they get on stilts and they dress up like the Statue of Liberty, and people think, oh, there's Statue of Liberty, that's so cool, that's cool, like, oh, like Mickey Mouse, there he is, all Spider-Man, like boom, and then you see these crazy fools like in these stilts, and they just are scary, like they're menacing. They don't look fun. I don't want to have my picture with them, like I'm scared of them. So
That's hilarious, man.
but at the same time, they're inspiring, and I'm intrigued, and they're very interesting to me. Like they're very mystical and strange, and I like that. I like that they're like out in the open, walking around Times Square, but they're also like kind of creepy, and like I don't want to get to know them, but I will paint them. I'll paint pictures of them because I like having them within my paintings, because that's like part of me living here in New York and stuff like that. And so like, and they represent, the city and our nation or whatever, so I incorporate them into my works and stuff. But a lot of my own work I've been transitioning into doing a lot more paintings and larger scale paintings. And also like I'm always trying to have fun while I'm making art, and if I'm not like having fun, then and it just becomes like this monotonous work, then like that's not art to me, because I want to be like, I make art because it's like it's fun, and it's like my own personal way of like feeling good. It's like a therapy for me. And I, art has always been like that. So the moment it becomes not fun is when I'm just like, I want to move on, so I want to do something else. I want to try something else. So a lot of my like heavy graphic style earlier in Chicago's like works that have taken me, like 50, 60, 100 plus hours, I'd be making those pieces, and then I'll show them or whatever, and maybe they don't sell or whatever, and then I get kind of salty or whatever. What am I doing, and then sometimes they sell, and just like the market is so all over the place, so I'm always trying to like I'm always trying to get back to that fun level. How can I make this fun for myself and evolve into a new way? So a lot of my newer stuff is a departure from the heavy graphic-y stuff I'm doing. It still has graphic elements of my older style, but it's like I'm deconstructing. My new paintings are like a deconstruction of um, my older works in a way, and they're evolving, and I'm getting more in tune with my color palette, muting colors out, and also like departuring from the herms, still keeping them in, when it's appropriate. I like to lurk them out in the paintings, and with the graphite. But the new stuff, I've been getting all into gouache too. That's my new game, is a gouache game, and I love the gouache. This homie Jacob Lewis in Chelsea runs this gallery, and he mentioned to me, that I should start experimenting with gouache, bring out some of my colors and things like that, So I started experimenting with the gouache, and just fell in love with the gouache paint. So I've been doing these like acrylic and gouache combination paintings with a little bit of graphite, a little bit of marker. So they're kind of like a mixed media type thing. But I've been really enjoying going down that avenue, and just having fun with it, just getting real loose, deconstructing my style, just breaking it down. And also like, New York's such a fast place that my work has become a lot faster too, to keep up with that flow, So like, instead of spending 60 hours on a painting, I'll try and spend like 2 or 3, max. And also like I've been really getting into doing these paintings where like these ones behind me, where like I start painting it, and I get into my flow, into my rhythm, and then like all of a sudden, like, it gets to this point where I'm like, oh, I could keep going with this, but you know what, I like it being like undone. I like the piece halfway unfinished, because that is the finished piece in a way. So that's kind of like what I'm going after now, just experimenting,
Yeah, you brought up the theme of fun a lot, and I think fun. I think working with other artists. I think collaboration. That brings me to a show that's opening up in Oakland this Saturday.
Yeah.
The collab show. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw the list of that for the first time. I was like, holy shit! Somebody did their homework and got some really good artists on
Yeah.
this list, including yourself.
Yeah.
You're collaborating with Max Kaufman.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that? How did you get approached? How's the collaboration process like? I saw a little bit of the piece with the farmhouse. It looks super cool. I can't wait to see the bigger piece, of course,
Cool.
online. But talk about that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, Max and I have been friends for a couple years now. Met him through the folks at Athen B Gallery, which
Yeah.
prior to it being Athen B, it used to be a gallery called Likaviv, and I did a pretty big show there a couple years ago, 2012, with my buddy Billy Spragg, who's another amazing Oakland-based artist. And through doing that show, we did that duo show together. Metaphysical Graffiti was the name of that show, and it was a really successful show. We just completely muraled all the walls, and we had something like 40 or 50 pieces or something like that in the show. It was really well received. Um, we got some write ups from that show. It was really fun. But just from being in touch with that gallery and those folks, when they switched over to Athen B Gallery, I met Brock, who's one of the homies that runs that gallery, along with the homie Sorrell, who also runs this really amazing garment textile company called Brick and Cotton, which is sort of my outlet for all clothing items and garments and stuff that I've been designing over the past couple of years. I've been releasing with Brick and Cotton, who's they're this really awesome company affiliated with the gallery. But just through that whole group of friends, I met Max and we became buddies. And he's got some connects in the Midwest, that we're all kind of like connected with. So I've been a big fan of his work for a while. He's been a fan of mine. And last year, actually, when I was doing more of the works on paper, we ended up doing. I was just like, hey man, we should just do some friendly collabs together. I'd love to do something just purely out of fun, like not even for anything really. So I just did a handful of drawings and just mailed them to him, like last year. So the works we're showing actually this weekend at F&B are works that are about a year old. So
Okay.
my stuff has changed a lot since then, but they're still, they're still cool. They're still very contemporary, and I'm really psyched on them. We got a handful of pieces in the show, and yeah, I just drew kind of like half drawings of what I would normally do, and then just mailed them to him, and then he just kind of did his 2 cents over it, and then that's pretty much it. That became uh what happened, and then just actually earlier this year I did my first San Francisco show with Ken and Dill, together at Campfire Gallery, and that's where I met Brock from Anthony B. He showed up at the show, and then we're talking and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they put together the show at Anthony B, and I was really cool, stoked to be in that. And I actually my work at Flavor Paper, we just printed this Oakland toile for F&B like a month or two ago, which was pretty cool to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, I was talking to. Sorry. I
Kind
was
of
talking
how
to Troy
that.
Lovegates. Troy Lovegates was in town painting a mural this summer, and I was talking to him about Brock, and that guy seems to be doing some really awesome stuff, for the art world. And man, I hope I get to meet that guy one day. That guy seems really awesome.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. Super good vibes. Very positive. Super chill guy. Like I was really stoked to see him come out for our Cannon and I's San Francisco show earlier this year. It was really good to see him. Yeah, great guy. Like the whole F&B crew is really cool. I'm stoked to be showing there, and hopefully more down the road as well.
Yeah,
Um,
of
so
course.
yeah, I'm stoked to be a part of that.
I want to talk about something a bit more. I guess people might take some inspiration from this, or some terms from this. You've worked with people like Converse, you've worked with Pabst, and you've done that Red Bull thing.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to people saying, "Oh man, you're a sellout, you're a sellout," how do you deal with that? When it comes to people saying stuff like that, it's just like you're trying to make a living. That's it. So when it comes to like making that extra buck, what do you tell the people who say like, "No, this isn't real art because you're working with so and so"?
Sure. Okay. Well, man, like I don't really, I just brush it over my shoulder, man. I don't think it's anything to be looked down upon, as an artist. It's like we're all hustling, we're all hungry. We all want to make money. I do.
Sorry, Ian, the video cut out. I think it's just because your phone maybe fell asleep.
Oh, really? All right. Hold on a second. Wait, low battery, low battery. All right.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna have one more question after this. Okay.
Okay, can you see me?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Okay, all right, I'm cool. All right, sorry, my phone was like gave me the blurb. It's like 20% left.
Yeah, the
So I'm like,
countdown's on.
okay, but yeah. I mean, like I think it's amazing opportunity for any artist, to have a chance to do something awesome with like a any kind of company, like I mean, as long as you're comfortable, you know, working with them, like I don't see any issue with it. I look at it as a way as like, I'm making money. I'm trying to survive. It's like I don't look at it I don't frame it as a way of selling out at all or anything like that, or doing something like, oh, just to make money or whatever with some big name company. But I look at it as a means of survival. Like it's that's pretty much it for me. Just trying to you choose your battles, and it's like the opportunities come knocking. It's up to you to open the door and go with it, run with it if you want. And I've had nothing but positive things to say about Converse and Red Bull. I'm really psyched that I got to work with both of them.
Yeah, last question. I just want to talk about the name Hydeon. I remember reading it's like, it's the play on words with your name and the word hide as well.
Yeah.
Just wonder where that came from. If you're are you hiding from something? Are you still hiding from that thing? Just little terms of what's going on with the name.
Oh, sure. I mean, the name is sort of like derived from years ago. Probably it started as early as like middle school, seventh grade, when friends of mine used to call me Eon, like Eon Flux from like that old MTV show back in the day, that old like anime show. And then the Eon part kind of stuck. And then so I was always like Eon for a while. And then like when I got into high school and sort of like transitioning from high school into college, um, it sort of like came about like just me and a couple of my best friends just kind of joking around and adding the like I always kind of wanted to have I always liked the idea of like operating under an alias, going under a name, because I always thought my own personal name was just so plain, like it just some Irish dude, like Ian Ferguson, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, okay, it's another just random dude. So I always wanted to have like some kind of name that had that like rang a bell, but something that was original and something that was a play off of my own name, and something that I could go under, and that's where like the Hyde Ian part comes under. So I'm like, it's sort of like this alias umbrella that I'm like hiding under, and it has like nothing to do with like actually being like hidden away world. It's just like it's a name that I can hide under, but it also has two different pronunciations. So you can do the Hydean part or you can do the Hydean part. So it's
Mm.
Hydean or Hydean. I typically I've pronounced it as Hydean for like a long time, and then people were like, "Oh, Hydean," and I'm like, "Oh, cool, like Hydean, yeah, that works." I'll go sure either way, yeah, that's cool. But visually, I like the way the letters look together, and so yeah, so over the past like 10 years or so, 11 years, maybe 12 years now, I've been going under that name. And I just sort of like I just loved it. I love the way the letters look together, more aesthetically more than anything. And I like the play on words pretty
It kind of
much.
plays with your herms too. Like they like hiding, they're underground most of the time, and
Yeah, that goes with it too. The Herm troglodytes. Like I got the troglodyte part from my dad, and I got the Herm part from like hermits, and like, but they're also sort of like these strange like transgenderal beings. So they're also kind of like hermaphrodites in a way too, but they're not either or. They're just kind of like these strange humanoid entities that travel through time, and they collect different assets and knowledges from different historical periods throughout time, and they bring them with them, and they gain the knowledge within their own subculture, within themselves. And so I use them as conduits to express my own life experience, in a way. And I just love them. I'll never stop doing the harms, man. They're always going to be going. And like they might depart your way sometimes, but they're always going to be lurked out, man. They're always going to be creeping around, and the herms are always going to keep coming back, man. They love the pointy boots, smoking the
yeah, the
cigs,
pointy boots. We didn't get into it.
but yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ian. First episode
Oh,
of Chalk Talk. Thank you for coming
I,
on.
I'd like to real quick though. I got two more shows I'd like to shout out
Yeah,
coming up
totally. Go ahead.
before I departure. So there's the F&B show coming up this weekend on the 10th, and I got my first international show coming up in Buenos Aires on this October 17th with the Honeycomb Gallery. So look out for that. And then also my first I'm making my debut Manhattan show here in the city October 22nd with the World Trade Gallery in the city. So I'm really excited about that. But those are my only little teasers.
Awesome.
But
Congratulations for all that.
that's it.
Instagram shout out too. Give us your Instagram.
Oh, it's just Hydeon, just at Hydeon. You can find me. Just
Awesome.
HEEON hashtag handle the at symbol thing. Hydeon. Yeah.
I'll make sure everybody finds you. Thanks a lot, Ian.
All right. Thanks so much, brother. Appreciate it.
Okay,
man.
bye.
All right, bud.